International Day of Independence for the International Day for Independence of Palestine. Actually, Egypt has always been supporting and assisting the Palestinians in their cause. A historical support. To shed more light on this, we have the pleasure to have with us over the phone Dr. Mohamed Abdel Azim, Professor of Political Science. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Well, Dr. Abdel Azim, how do you see the significance of Egypt's support to the historical support, of course, to Palestine, especially celebrating Egypt celebrating the International Day of the Palestinian cause?
As we all know, like Egypt really supports all the Arabian cases and just most of the events in all regions, especially the Palestinian case. As we all know, as they just mentioned, that is the 29th of November, marks the International Day of Solidarity with the Palestinian people. So that Egypt, like mostly of the awarded country, try to supporting this case according to the emphasize no traces of rights of Palestinian people and the right. I remember all the day of which is United Nations General Assembly, as we all know, that announced about the decision to partition of Palestinians and ignore the right of the access and the self-determination of Palestinian people, which filling the collection and collective actually exclusions and which is habit and for virtual occupation from Israel to continue the day for like since 54 years, as we know, of the West Bank and the inclusion that Jerusalem and Gaza Strip for decades. So Egypt mostly supports the Palestinian people to live under, peacefully regime and supporting to stop any kind of racism against Palestinian people, stop the settlements and racial discrimination against them, sure, and especially from the recently aggressive action of the occupation troops and to settle the occupation projects in different areas of the Jerusalem and the surrounding areas, like I think mostly than 3,000 or 4,000 settlements units, and also the process of displacement of Palestinian people in Sheikh Jarrah neighborhood and the continuously of Israeli occupation of village of which amount of war crimes and different kind of crimes against humanity, as we know. So for the different kind of restrictions of occupation countries before the International Criminal Court to show them.
Yes. So, Dr. Abdel Azim, what are the manifestations or the way the Egyptians are celebrating the International Day of Solidarity of the Palestinian people? Are there any events or activities that were held here in Egypt?
Like Egypt, not just to celebrate, but mostly of the Egyptian work for this kind of events, working to supporting the case itself, because the rule of Egypt since all decades, lots of decades, depends on how to work on the ground, okay, for supporting the Palestinian case and to supporting not just to celebrating, but to make announcement for all the world about the case I just mentioned and how to the massive of occupation, occupation troops against Palestinian people, and how there's, orientation from Egyptian, from not Egypt and all Arab countries toward make a continuous with a peace process steps toward to find a solution for the Palestinian people, sure.
Yes, actually, Dr. Abdel Azim, also Egypt always witnesses through the whole year seminars and conferences supporting the Palestinian people everywhere in Egypt, in universities, in companies, in many fields, in many places here in Egypt, in clubs also. We see always speakers about holding seminars seminars on the Palestinian cause through the whole year?
Because Egyptian people see this as the case not just for Palestinian people, it's the case for all Arab countries, and especially for the Egyptian people themselves. And how sympathy we can try to figure it out from all different levels of people over here, from the government itself, from the even just people in the streets that find themselves as you just mentioned, about even the academia, fields from different seminars or conferences show that. But what I mean here that is the case of the Palestinian working out was mostly of a speech, okay, especially in international forums from the Egyptian government and Egyptian leader, Mr. Abdel Fattah which is recently tried to figure out how it's important to find a solution, not just for the refugee crisis all over the world, like Ukrainian-Russian crisis, or even mostly of other wars all over the world, but especially the mainly and one of the rooted problem over the region, especially the Palestinian people's rights in the land, and how to it's one of the key for a peaceful process for the mostly procedures so we can to figure out in the issue.
Yes, Dr. Abdel Azim, also we could not forget the stance of President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his decision to rebuild Gaza. And also we can see through the whole year that the long line and queues of trucks sending commodities and supplies to the Palestinians on the borders.
Sure, that is one of the process that Egypt has tried to confirm about that the project to try to inalienable rights of the Palestinian people and Palestinian civil society, and to ensure there is how the Israel try to make a violation against human rights and holding accountability, because mostly international community talk about human rights, try to ignoring the violence and just massive action from Israel toward the Palestinian Palestinian people. In addition, as you know, just recently we are waiting the decision from the International Criminal Court against Israel, and we get like one of the announcements from Israel try to invite Egyptian leaders over the world to stop any decision from the International Criminal Court. But actually, Egypt supporting taking a process, actually the legal process toward the violation of human rights against the Syrian people, and take effective and positive action to measure the demand of demand of the Syrian people to ending this illegal practicing and threats against the Palestinian people, and different kind of harassment and violation against them for as all society defenders of human rights over the world. That's one of announcement to continue like a kind of working out to stop any kind of inclusion with supporting the Israeli occupation and rejecting the practicing from them, and try to figure out stopping this military funding and banning all forms of Israeli technology in field of cyber. As you know, the different reports talk about the cyber sovereignty. So, expressing the solidarity from Egypt, it's a continuity of the very ongoing policies from Egypt toward the Palestinian people and the Syrian authorities to getting a lot of gains, especially in ongoing events right now happening in the whole world.
Yes, I thank you very much for your time. Thank you for your valuable information, Dr. Mohamed Abdel Azim, Professor of Political Science. Thank you very much for joining us over the phone. And with this, my dear viewers, we come to the end of this episode of our program, The Breakfast Show. I was in the company of my colleague Inji Meher. My name is Amal Mukhtar. Thank you for watching.